Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. Some episodes are very interesting to record because some transits are either not so potent or, everybody experiences these influences in such different ways. And it depends on what you have in your chart, but it also depends where you are, what lessons, karmic lessons you're facing right now, what are you releasing? There's so many other things. This is why I love doing this series with Annita because I might my personal little ego kind of trip goal here is to dive more into experiencing of the lines because I'm a 1-3, as you probably know, and the third line is the line that you need to live through something to really know it. So this is a very interesting experience for me. But I really love when Annita comes and gives a bigger picture because there's other things as well at play, and it's not always this. And also we have different channels, and so today we're going to talk about this channel that the current transit is activating in everybody. Funnily enough, this is the first one on our journey of these videos that we're recording, where the gate in the solar transit, which is gate 40, and it's the gate of aloneness. And we will talk about this as well. And there's a lot of themes that you might already recognize and feel. And then the harmonic gate, as well as the grounding earth gate, in this transit is 37, which makes it a whole 4037, which is a channel of bargain, a channel of community, which Annita, you have.
Yeah, I do.
So it's really cool to talk about this, like talk about it from, I don't have this channel, I don't have either of those gates in my chart. So, my perspective of this, and also then your perspective of someone who actually lives with that. And this is your consistent energy, which is so cool. So let me, with a disclaimer that I did not like last week's transit at all whatsoever. 59 were, it was not kind to me. I felt, and it was interesting because when we were talking about it, and you can go back, on YouTube or wherever you're following this, maybe to the last week's one, when we were talking about like facing the truth as well. There was a lot of in this gate, even though it was a gate of sexuality, but it was also about facing your truth. Where are you holding back, and what truths you need to face? And it's interesting how this next gate is still about facing something. But let's just think about it. Gate 40 is sitting on our ego or will center. So it is about, and it's connected then with this transit, it's connected to the emotional center with the gate 37. And the gate 37 is the gate of family. And both of them have very, very interesting dynamics. And together they have a very, very, how would I say, their tie is really prominent. So the gate 40, this is the gate of the will, right? And this is basically a gate of a provider, the gate of a breadwinner. So the themes that you might be experiencing this week is about, the hard work you need to do in order to support your family, your business, your own life, yourself, and this is this kind of breadwinner thing that I can go and I can do and I can provide. But there is another theme that goes together with it, and that in a way reminds me of the classic kind of family conflicts when dad comes home and the wife asks something, or husband comes home, wife asks something from him, he's like, leave me alone, I've been working all day, where's the dinner? And because this is about, I work but I also need to rest. So I already see this in me, and I already see this around this theme of actual balance between working hard and focusing on resources and supporting doing what needs to be done, and also having that time alone. And this is why this gate is called the gate of aloneness. It's really important for the balance to have that peace and quiet, to have that rest. It's a major, major theme this week. And I think that by just researching what this gate brings and what this channel brings, what speaks to me here is that time alone really important, because you might be doing too much, and you might be spreading yourself too thin. You might be focusing on way too many things at the moment, so you will feel more exhausted, or things will constantly pull you into other direction where you need to do something for one area of your life, and then other areas require more support, because this is all about support and provision, right? So you might start feeling like, no, I don't need you, or you want to do everything yourself, and then you don't want anybody's help. So that's this, no, I don't want your help vibe, or I didn't ask you to do this, or, there is this whole thing. It's like, leave me alone, I'll do it myself, or I won't do anything, because it's also called a gate of denial. So watch yourself this week, these kind of themes that are happening. It's also a denial of, as I said, it's help. I was even reading in terms of sexuality, this is the a design of masturbation. And I was thinking, well, that's like an ultimate denial of another part, right? But we have at the same time this gate 37, and the whole channel is kind of like a theme of marriage. So we have the breadwinner, the 40, and then 37 is a gate of family, and it's a gate of a distributor. So in a classic sense, and please don't start getting like offended or anything, classic scenario, husband, provider, wife at home, housewife, right? In that scenario, this is the kind of archetypes where the wife then takes the paycheck, distributes everything. She looks after management of the household, management of the kids, everything. So she's the distributor. And it really is, to avoid this conflict with the husband, you need to massage his ego a little bit. You need to show your loyalty. You need to understand that he's tired. You need to show this, and then this unit can be solid. Then it can be harmonious. So with this gate 37, and this is the gate of trust and fairness and deals and bargains. So I think that there is a very clear theme from both of these gates of boundaries, setting your boundaries, but not in a kind of masculine kind of go away way. Watch out. If you I've already noticed myself doing that, and it's not it's the shadow things, being more understanding. I think this is like tapping into this grounding energy of 37 is really, really important for us. So there is another thing as well with 37 that I find very interesting, and I have a few people. As I mentioned, I don't have the 37 in my design, but I met people with 37, and I was researching how it's not a vocal, like it's not the romance, the love is not expressed through words with this gate. It's much more tactile, it's much more touchy-feely gate. So it sometimes, with setting your boundaries or trying to avoid the conflict. Right now, it's not about actually explaining it. Try and see, is there a way that you can maybe lean much more into friendship, into doing something together, into where you can be together. And I was thinking, how does this translate? I can see very clearly that because this is a gate that the theme of touch and a cognition of touch, where through touch you know who to trust and who not to trust. How does this work, say, if you have an online business, and how does it work in terms of your visibility and your marketing? And I can see already that there could be a theme of like, oh my god, I'm working too much and getting exhausted from that, over like burning out from doing too much right now, wanting something from people, not getting it back, because we have these bargains. And Anita, you're probably going to be talking about the actual channel a little bit more, but this is all based on, I do this, you do this, and so this is not, I think, the time this tries to be very heavy in terms of like, I scratch your back, you scratch me, I did this, you do that, that kind of bargaining. Try and show more passive approach. And in one of the interpretations, I really liked the advice of approach this energy with like a childlike openness and curiosity, because you don't know, if you're a little bit more passive, if you just submit a little bit more to these energies, don't try and push through with the ego that comes from gate of ego, right? Maybe you will discover other sides of yourself. Maybe you will discover things that maybe you're overthinking some things, where you feel like you need to establish your boundaries, but you don't. And also 37 gate is very interesting. Again, it's a grounding gate, but when there is something is not fair, people with this gate, they're people of their word. So the word and agreement is very important to them. But also because it's an emotional wave, right? We have to adjust. We have to be able to adjust these agreements and bargains. But when somebody renegates the deal or bargain, we can freeze them off. And so, freeze them out. So watch out this transit. You might want somebody will, rub you wrong way, and you or didn't meet your expectations, or didn't do what they said they will do in your bargain, and then you want to cut them out of your life. But this could also be the energy of this transit. And remember, 37, even though it's a harmonious gate, but it's also a gate of the channel, right? The whole channel. So what happens in human design is that you have a gate activated, and it sort of always wants to connect or get support from that other gate on the end of the channel. But when the channel is activated, it's like a quantum leap. It's a next level. Something else is happening. And so this channel is bringing both themes to the next level. Annita, are you okay with kind of talking about this channel a little bit yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. I do have this full channel, and it is, to me, has been my life's learning. Where am I and where are you? You know, where are we in agreement? How have I learned to show up as a woman? And I can tell you, most women have learned to show up in quite submissive ways or super bitch ways. So there's a place where this is a really brilliant place to learn balance of where I fit in the community. It's beautiful because it's coming up with Pluto and Capricorn, coming into the last few degrees of Capricorn, right? For centuries, it's like, this is your place and you stay there. And I'm telling you that's your place. And, it's been in society, through religion, through communities, through cultures, right? Whereas people are now going, our kids are growing up and kind of going, what do you mean that's my place? Excuse me? Who are you to tell me that's my place, right? So it's really interesting energy. Pluto's move is showing us in the last few degrees of Capricorn over the next couple of months. Okay, these are the places where you're relinquishing control. You're relinquishing your power. You're putting them first. And so if you put them first, can you look after your own needs? Do you look after your own needs first and then show up? So this is something that with Pluto, it's showing us those areas, because moving into Aquarius, we need to know our needs. And a lot of us don't know our needs. We've learned what our needs should be. And this is where human design is golden, to learn what your actual needs are, so that you can honor them first and then teach others how to honor your needs. Then it's about agreement. Hey, this is what I need. And it's not I need to fight for it or prove myself or seek approval for it. It's, yeah, this is my need. And, let's set up the win-win. And so now compromise moves to agreement. And that's where the up-leveling of this energy is expressed and presented. And you can see it across the board. My biggest one, I had watched a funny Facebook thing a few weeks ago, and it was this guy who, because it's not like sex dependent, we all are over givers or over receivers, right? And he was talking about, and I hope you don't mind my bad language, but I'm going to say it because it needs to be said. And he was there. Here I was putting everybody first and wondering why I felt so fucking empty. And my therapist said, well, that's called a toxic empath. When looking after other people's needs is not the same as looking after your own. You need to look after yourself first, show up with your energy, and then make agreements with others. Okay, guys, what are we going to do next? And this works well in family. This works well in the workplace. And if you can imagine, it is the area where work-life balance becomes really screwed up. Because with this energy, I have a defined will center, but if I am looking to another to satisfy my needs, and I'm not satisfying my needs, I'm unable to elevate my prosperity in my life. Because if I'm not looking after my needs first, regardless of what they pay me or give me or acknowledge me, I'm not able to take it in. So this is one of the biggest places that I work with people who are struggling with prosperity or money-wise, because I'm kind of there, hang on, it starts with you, It starts with, what do you want? And with this energy, what I find when I have it, and I've learned this the hard way, believe me, like I've bumped into many walls and many relationships and bumped out of many relationships with this energy. And it is part of learning how to know what you want. So if you're a coach and you're a healer and or any profession and you're asking someone, what do they want? I can guarantee you 99 times out of 100, they will answer for someone else. I want my kids to be happy. I want my client to be better. And they won't start with them, right? So this is like a global growth that we're going to experience over the next 20 years because Pluto's moving into Aquarius to teach us, hey, you can be yourself and be part of the community, both and. It doesn't have to be like we see today, kids fighting to be themselves, fighting to be seen for their sexuality, for their uniqueness, for their difference, rather than accepted. And acceptance isn't the same as enabling. We're not enabling bad behavior here. We're not giving, it's a both and, it's a win-win. And we're yes, of course you can be different. And as long as you don't push it down my throat, I'm okay with it.
That's it. I love how it's almost every week, I think, we're always bringing it back to yourself and putting yourself first. And I sometimes talk about, the selfish marketing or running the business the selfish way, where you put yourself, you make it convenient, fulfilling, you make it a stage for your self-expression, then it's going to start benefiting others. Because if you are trying to help others, but inside you're empty, like you just described, it just really hit this place, and we are giving away our power by expecting something on the outside, by giving it too much. And human design literally tells, here's why you give too much to others. There's different in different designs and different reasons, but it is about you in the first place, because you can't serve others if you are feeling inadequate, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling tired. These energies of this week: take more rest, take a step back, even if you're a breadwinner, even if everything is at stake. I've been a breadwinner in my family for over a decade, and I've learned to a place where I've learned to understand that there is a place where you have to say, yes, I know that I am a provider. I know that. But you know what? Right now, I need that peace, because if I don't rest, I can't provide. If I don't recharge, I can't provide. So allowing this and doing it in a much more sort of feminine, accepting, allowing way this week is going to do much better than than fighting for it. And
That's
I
so
think that we
true.
might find loads of new things about ourselves, and even, tap into the creativity as well more when we allow this to happen. And then, just before we wrap up, and if you have anything to add to this, Anita, please do interrupt me,
Yeah, I
be my
do
guest.
actually. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Because the big thing of this is the burnout energy. Because our work-life balance has gone so askewed towards stress that even though you're resting, not moving, you're sitting on the couch, brain dead in front of a television, scrolling through your phone, you're not resting.
No.
You can burn out on the couch. You can be worried about something on the couch, right? And your brain, your mind doesn't know that it's not in front of you. So your body is responding to your worries as if they're actually right here, right now. And you can burn out with this energy really easily. So it's the energy, and especially with the gate 40, because you can isolate yourself. You can not see yourself because you're so involved in the other. And in work, you can see the boss who doesn't respect your feelings as an individual or your work contract, right? So this is work to rest. We're supposed to work to rest. So this is why I love Ireland. We've quite a good work-life balance here. Or I will say life-work balance. We work to live. We work to live our lives, right? Rather than live to work. And I don't think there's both either or. I think there's the both and. But this is one of the energies where you burn out because you put others first. It is actually uh, a what is it not supporting yourself is why you burn out, is why you don't get support from others.
Yeah.
It's like as within, so without. You're actually, so the more you support yourself, the more you honor your needs, the more you're going to be supported. It's like, it's the reverse of what everybody's doing out there. And that's
Yeah.
why this universal guidance that we're getting with the transits is saying, okay, guys, look, now we've seen all the places where top-down control is working, isn't working. Let's look at the places where you're limiting yourself, isolating yourself, and let's have a look at how we can include ourselves again in the equation. And it's just something that's because that resolve to me when I teach people, well, they're saying, okay, Anita, I've run myself into the ground. What do I do? And I say, start with you. We're back to the decision. Start with your yes, resolve or commit to your yes. So now, at least when you say no to someone, it's actually because it's a yes to you.
Yes,
And it
exactly.
becomes it becomes really clean in the bargain because a lot of people, that gate 37 is responsible for um, the open emotion center not wanting to rock the boat. So I don't want to rock the boat. So look, you do what you want, love. As opposed to, kind of saying, okay, win-win or no deal. It needs to be the energy here, right? In every level of this center, this will center, but it's just to realize that the difference between having your own time and integrating your daily practice, like you said, coming home and having a bit of peace and quiet before your dinner, or we've lost that with
Mm.
working from home. We've lost the delineation between driving home from work and being able to detox, debrief before we get home. So we need to look after that need for ourselves now.
It's a conscious decision. It really
Yeah.
is. Like I know I've downsized in the last few years. So, my living room is my kitchen and my office.
Hmm.
And I love that because I really enjoy having a smaller space than I had before. But there is a big dilemma. How do you step away from work? And you know what? It is possible. I did feel for a while that it's not possible. It's possible because it's a decision you make. And when you decide, so I can still have all my, my notes, my computer in the corner, and I can turn around, sit on the couch and, enjoy the evening with my family. And it doesn't cross my mind anymore, my work, even though it's just there. And before it was like an obsession, but it was a decision. And then every time you fall off the wagon, because you always will, you bring yourself back with that decision, and you train yourself like a muscle. You train yourself. It is possible to learn to switch off work, but it requires conscious approach. It just doesn't happen on its own. I think a lot of people are expecting that this just like miraculously will happen. It just doesn't, so we have to honor ourselves. There's a couple of things that I want to wrap up with. One of the things that I was reading about the gene key 40, again, following too much. Following too much. And I really loved how Richard Roth said, if you're listening to this and Gene Keys is not your thing, drop it now. Stop it. Because you're spreading yourself too thin. You're not focusing. If you're spreading yourself too thin, you're giving too much energy to all the other philosophies, projects, advice. This is where you are exhausting yourself. And I really resonate with this because I feel like this week specifically, very acutely, I feel how anything that requires a little bit extra of my attention, where normally I can do it and, I won't even notice this, but it exhausts me this week. So we have to do a purge, a little purge in our what do we read, who do we listen, what relationships are we maintaining right now, and is it serving you? And this is the second thing that's really important to wrap up, and this is, Anita, what you said. It's like, put yourself first. What are your needs? What are your needs? When you understand your needs, you can then rebalance everything, and then you can give, because you are not empty. So that's a beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm sure it's going to be a little tricky. So strap in. The transit will pass in a few days, but this is a lesson for us to learn and find something beautiful on the other side of that. And me and Anita, we will see you or Anita and I should be like using proper English. We will see you on the next episode of Transits and Tactics. See you later, guys, and goodbye.